No, probably not. You're live. It says, super sorry. Nobody's on this chat yet. I'll see.
We'll give it a few seconds for people to make their way over here. We don't know what happened there. Hopefully it doesn't happen again, but we'll see. I need a drink of this beer. I'm gonna like it.
Should pop up on our channel. No rips. We've got 3 people made it over. I'm so sorry, everybody.
All right. Well, we're going to wait just a little bit for people to kind of make their way over here. And while they're doing that,
we're going to stress drink.
We'll stress. We're going to have a beer. Oh, there. So people are starting to make it.
Sorry. That was, I don't know.
No, we still don't really know what happened. And when we tried to remove our webcam and put it back in, it just stopped the whole live stream and we couldn't go back to it. So that is unfortunate. Yeah, we're up and running. Sup, LaBoot family. Labout. I don't know why I call you guys LaBoots. It just sounds more exotic.
Okay, let me get on. Hopefully.
All right. Well, we're here. People have found us. I don't know how many others will find us, except for the people who got your link.
I didn't even put the link. It was just, I said, get out of ours and then go to our channel, and our live stream should be there. Okay. So hopefully.
Oh, a lot of people are showing up.
Okay, cool. I know.
Well, let's start by saying a few people asked, and as you can see, we're sitting here having a beer.
Okay, sorry.
We are okay. We're in a good spot up here in St. Martin. We think. Looks like so far we're going to get some wind. We're going to get probably some pretty strong gusts and maybe some rain. But we lucked out in being pretty much in the best place I think that we could be down here. Yeah. Not by our
no, just by dumb luck.
Yeah. You know, we don't usually get down to Grenada all that quickly anyway. But we could very well have been sitting in Carriacou right now in the boat yard or all the way to Grenada. So we're really concerned about all of our friends down there who have already made it down there. And, you know, people head to Grenada so quickly to avoid hurricanes. And I guess that's just a comment on what we've got going on with the weather right now in the world. Things just aren't the way they used to be.
No, not this year.
Yeah. So if for some reason you haven't been paying attention, there's a Cat 4 hurricane that is making its way toward the lower Antilles, lesser Antilles. And it's just getting stronger and stronger. And right now it's the middle of the night that it's supposed to make landfall, I think. Yeah. And yeah, it's going to be a Cat 4 when it hits, and it looks like it's going to hit Carriacou, Bequia, Grenada, St. Vincent, maybe St. Lucia, all those potentially pretty hard. We've been keeping a close eye on it to make sure it wasn't tracking up more in our direction. And obviously all signs the entire time have been for us to just stay put, and we've been happily doing that. It's windy here. I was racing around getting a project done before the wind really got strong, right before we tried to go live.
The first time.
Yeah, and failed miserably, but which is frustrating. We've got like a cool new camera here that we're testing out as a live stream camera, and right now it's working great. So I just really don't know what happened there. But anyway.
Neither here nor there, yeah.
Yeah, so what's been happening, and it's really troubling. We've been in contact with some of our friends that we have spent time in Grenada with, some that have left here recently to head down that way. People are now fleeing Grenada and trying to get to Trinidad, a lot of them, which that's one of those things that you just don't know what the right call is when the time comes. If you're in a southern bay in Grenada, there's a good chance that they'll see some 40 to 50 knot winds, but nothing quite hurricane force. But there'll also be winds coming in a different direction. Trinidad and Tobago is not as easy a place to check into, but I think they are kind of loosening up their entry requirements a little.
Yeah, they basically are like, you come in now and we'll figure it out after the hurricane. But
there's so many boats heading down that way that it's now a concern about how much room they're going to have for boats to anchor. There's already a report of a family boat with 2 kids, age 3, and they had lost their motor on the way down and were unable to fight their way up against a current that comes across there to get into the anchorage. So somebody was having to go out to rescue them and tow them into the anchorage. It's just kind of scary. And then there's going to be another system coming in after that. So we are just kind of like everybody else, waiting to see what's going to happen and how serious it's going to be and how strong, and feeling extremely fortunate that fate brought us here and kept us here as long as we are.
Yeah.
And again, it's just fate. I mean, we weren't making those decisions based on any voodoo knowledge we had of hurricanes or patterns or anything like that. Our plan was to head south if a hurricane threatened us up here.
Yeah.
And instead, similar to last year, we were sitting in San Juan in July when whatever that system was came through. And, you know, we felt lucky then too. And
yeah,
same here this time. So
thanks, Brennan. Yeah, no, the only reason we're still here is really because Rivers has sailing camp this coming week.
Which is going to be interesting.
Yeah, they don't have it Monday tomorrow, which is when the worst of the weather is supposed to be here because it's Emancipation Day for St. Martin. So that was already a scheduled holiday. So, but still with all the weather, I think he's going to learn how to do some heavy weather sailing.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, that's the reports we're hearing too. A lot of these boats that are trying to get south past Grenada, which is not what usually is the case. They're getting some really, really rough seas because they're already kicked up from this storm that's coming, and nobody wants to be out there when it actually comes through. Obviously, there's something like 25 to 30 foot waves out there in the middle of it. So
yeah, but we haven't moved literally for 3 months.
Yeah,
so we are like as dug in as we can. We've got a couple of boats that are coming in around the anchorage.
Yeah.
Just watched one hook up next to us
Several
on a mooring
boats.
ball.
These are ones we used to see out there. Spellbound used to be. We're just watching them hook up. Yeah.
But we're feeling really, really safe here. There's nobody in front of us. My worry always when there's like weather coming in and everybody's scrambling is the anchorages that everybody goes to are going to get really full, and then they're not. And that's when you get a lot of problems. It's the boats coming into you and the boats getting loose. So
Right.
like a crowded anchorage is almost more scary. I don't know. I would say it's about even on the scary level than just
Right.
just the weather coming through. So,
Yeah, we don't worry as much about getting loose ourselves.
Yeah, no.
Knock on wood.
Right.
Which it can certainly happen, but
we trust ourselves and our boat. I don't trust anybody else around us.
Yeah, we've been sitting here long enough. I went under the boat. It's been a little while ago just to check the anchor and check our chain, and I couldn't find the anchor. It's so deeply buried beneath the water here. So we're dug in really good. I went up and I sort of repositioned our bridle to make sure there was no chafe. We've been doing all the normal stuff, kind of sealing up some hatches with tape that we haven't had a chance to get the glass sealed, just so if we do get dumped on with rain, we're not having trouble with that. Check the motor. Everything's running well in case we have to do any kind of maneuvering or something. So I don't expect it. We're supposed to see about 25 knots here, gusting up in the 30s, which we've sat through that plenty of times. And hopefully, we don't have any problems with it, and nobody else here does too. There's definitely some spaces in the lagoon here that people tend to drag, but we're in front of those spaces, so
yeah,
we should be okay.
We'll be all right.
Yeah. we're not seeing the wind shift that they're seeing down south. And that's kind of the problem in Tyrrell Bay, where we probably would have been pretty soon. So the timing of all this it's just what it is. But the wind is going to turn around completely from the southwest and blow straight into Tyrrell Bay. So in Carriacou, I'm concerned that a lot of boats there are going to wind up loose and on the shore. Just so many like local boats there and old mooring balls and work boats that are anchored and stuff. Yeah, we don't know what we're going to find when we do head down there in a couple weeks.
I know. Yeah, our plan was to haul out the end of this month at Tyrrell. And we had already changed that plan, and we're going to do it towards the end of hurricane season instead. But now we're just kind of waiting to see how bad it really does get hit. I mean, if it's a mess there, then we're going to have to figure out a plan. And if it looks like this season is going to continue to be as active and as low down, then we're going to have to do some like kind of hard talks and figure out
if we want
to go
somewhere else.
But that has not happened yet. So our plan is still Grenada after this, as long as everything works.
We've got a couple of questions. Somebody asked about if the storm changes direction, and that's what we've been kind of watching for the last week, few days. Even now, you just never know. All the environmental signs point to it just continuing straight across. And unlike when the storms sort of go up to the United States, up there's a lot more opportunity for them to kind of change directions and be a little more unpredictable. Down here, it seems like once they're within the 3 to 4 day range, they kind of track where they say they're going to go. So we're feeling pretty good about that. But if it was change direction, we've sat through not direct hurricanes, but tropical storm, force winds, and things like that. We've got a second anchor. We've never had to do it on this boat. We did it on Cecilia, but we do a double anchor system when we're, hunkering down. We take all the canvas off, we tie everything down, and just get ready. But looks like we're probably not going to have to worry about that here. And this is obviously a little more protected than a lot of places because we're in the lagoon. So there's not going to be any surge or waves or anything crazy like that,
Right. Yeah, it's literally just like a case by case basis. Like ready.
Yeah, somebody also asked what the most wind we've seen. And on this boat, it was like 2 days after we moved aboard. We were in Tyrrell Bay and a storm system came through and we didn't see it on our wind instrument, but somebody in the bay saw 65, I think.
Yeah.
65 knots.
Yeah.
And we had literally just moved aboard. The previous owner had anchored it. And as we discovered later, very short anchored.
Yeah. And we
had
like
2.5 to 1.
Cecilia right behind us.
Yeah.
So we were like in charge of 2 boats with this crazy wind that came through.
Right.
And both of them made it through. Okay.
We have a very good bugle anchor, which is very similar to a Rockna. Rockna sort of stole their design, actually. And nice heavy chain. And it's, knock on wood, we've had no problems with it. It's been really, really awesome. We get it set pretty easily unless we're on rock or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's been great. Somebody else said, what are your options? Where else can you go? I mean, at this point, there's really no place we would go from here for this storm system.
No, we talked about if we were already in Grenada. There's so many people that are going to Trinidad, and I told Eric, like, I'd be pushing for Aruba or the ABCs and getting out of there because, like I said, I get really worried. A bunch of boats go and anchor all at the same time in a really crowded anchorage.
Right.
So I would be pushing for as far away from those boats and as far away from the hurricane as possible.
At this point, though, and that's something that if we were sitting down there and even a couple of days ago, we might have considered. Yeah. Now it's probably too late.
You're in it. If you haven't moved yet,
you don't want to head to Aruba now.
No.
You'll have some pretty good wind.
Yeah.
If you did.
Really fast.
So.
Somebody asked how we double anchor.
Well, the way we did it on Cecilia was we had an entire chain for a secondary anchor that we ran back to a specific mounting point on our rock now that was designed for that. So you basically had a daisy chain of anchors.
I get like a piece of paper. I feel
onto
like
our
that'll
chain.
make more sense.
And that worked really well. The one time we had to sit during a tropical blow that came by in Puerto Rico.
Can you hear the wind?
Yeah.
It's crazy. I don't know what it's
Pretty good
blowing
gust
right
going
now.
We can turn it on and see. Yeah, it's piping up. So yeah, it's a pretty simple setup. You know, obviously our first inclination is to try not to be where the hurricane is. And our plan being here had something, say this exact same system was on a track that was moving more toward the northern islands, even if it was moving toward Guadeloupe, we'd have probably been gone 2 days ago and headed down south.
Yeah.
But its track the entire time has been pretty southward. So we stayed right where we were. And again, the behavior of hurricanes in this part doesn't seem to be at this stage like you don't see the spaghetti models like going all different directions. They're pretty focused in the direction that the thing's going right now. So
I was trying to draw it, but then I couldn't. And then
another fellow Buckeye. Yeah.
So basically, can we see this at all? No. So basically, this way. The boat's here, and then you have your first anchor, and then it's just attached to the second anchor.
Yeah.
It's hard to pull up. That's kind of the only problem, but obviously, deploying it and making it work, and that's like the most important part is getting it set well, and then
double the anchor power, and that very first one is being pulled straight along the bottom instead of having any kind of pull upward. So it's a really, really good, solid system to keep the boat in one spot.
Yeah.
And then you just throw all your chain out, basically, regardless of how deep it is. If you got room, there's not a lot of people around. Which, you know, if we had to do it here, we'd have room to put out quite a lot more scope than we have right now.
Yeah.
And if it starts to pipe up, that's probably the first thing we'll do is just put out more scope. Most of the time, we're at somewhere around 4 or 5 to 1, which is very, very common. And you got to kind of stick with what everybody else has in an anchorage. But when you got room, you know, go out to 6 or 7 to 1. Anything past that, you're not really helping yourself much, except for just the weight of the chain.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
I don't think we're going to take anything more. We'll probably roll these shades up, but I don't think we're going to take all of our shades down.
No, not for this. We'll keep our Dodger all the way up to kind of keep forcing the wind over our canopy. But although we've sailed in some pretty strong winds and pretty strong gusts, and all this kind of canvas handles that no problem. Somebody asked where we are. In case you're not familiar, we're in St. Martin. We're on the Dutch side in the lagoon, so we're inside, and pretty secure spot, and we're not moving.
Yeah. We have 200 feet of chain?
Yeah, we have 250, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how much?
Oh, like another 250 feet of rope.
We've never gone past that yet.
No.
And we're probably going to end up somewhere deep one day, but not yet.
Yeah. We had about the same on Cecilia, and once in a while we'd go past the 220, I think we had on Cecilia, and go into the rope. But not real often. It's rare to be anchoring that deep.
Did we ever regret going from a mono to a cat?
Not really.
No.
I mean, you gotta set aside our difficulties with our
I think the
purchase
functionality. Apples to apples, the cat is way better. Would I have gone for this much of a project cat?
Yeah.
No. But that's life.
I think I can say we kind of were in over our head for that first year, and now we've kind of got
a couple times after.
yeah. We've caught up to all the systems, and everything works on the boat that we need to, except for the one motor.
Yeah.
Just that.
Yeah. I mean, and truly, if we had this motor working, we would have been in Guatemala.
Probably, yeah.
This season.
Yeah.
And then wouldn't have had to.
It definitely changed our path. So
we every hurricane season we go through in the Caribbean, we're like, we're never going to do that again. We're never being in the Caribbean again for hurricane season. And then we just.
Oh, Captain Rehab, you guys are in Grenada, huh? You left the lagoon and sailed to Grenada, and that's just it. I know most people this time of year, around July, everybody's like, all right, it's time to get south. You know, it's not safe to be up in the northern part of the Caribbean because of hurricane season. And you can't even count on that. It doesn't seem like anymore. So, yeah. Yeah, Dave Ball, still planning on the electrics. We're working on a deal with some solar manufacturers. We got some stuff going on there. I'm going to be, again, I guess we kind of got to see what's going on with the hurricane situation, but our plan is to get new solar up on the back here before we leave to go to Grenada in the next couple weeks. I've already got the controllers for that. Yeah, what else? We've got a lot of stuff mapped out, and that's going to be kind of a slow rolling snowball as we get through hurricane season and really start digging into it.
Yeah.
I've been figuring out prop pitch and a lot of crazy stuff like that. I'm going to be reconditioning the props when we do haul out, and I'll reset the one on port to suit the electric motor first. So, yeah, a lot of crazy stuff.
Would we ever sail to New England or Maine? Say Maine. Maine is in England.
We would. I don't know if it's going to be in our plans, but it's not that we wouldn't.
Yeah, it's
We'd
not
like
that we
to.
wouldn't. We definitely talk about it. It's there's no real reason. It's just a long way to get up there, and I think we're just in the mode of if we're going a long way, we want to cross an ocean.
Right.
But no, I would totally do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would.
That's
Actually, that's kind of one place I wish we'd gotten farther north in some point in our sailing time to do that. And it just hasn't kind of worked out for us that way.
Yeah.
Somebody asked if we would do the hybrid thing with having one diesel and one electric. I mean, that might be what we wind up doing depending on how far we can make our funds go before it's time for us to cross the Atlantic. We don't have a problem running with one electric and one diesel. The only problem is the diesel that we have is still a 30-year-old diesel. And so I really firmly believe that when we do get that electric in on the port side, I'm going to have that motor room very, very clean and bright and dry. And then you just put this super simple electric motor in. We're going to have a big old pile of lithium power supplied to it. I think we're going to grow tired of the Starboard diesel pretty quickly. And I understand the benefits theoretically of having both, but part of the big benefit in my eyes and a lot of people's of going electric is to be rid of the disadvantages of diesel, and that's the maintenance and the oil changes and the multiple fluids and 300 moving parts and not knowing what you got to fix next, noise, exhaust. And so if you go hybrid, you kind of don't get to experience that in full because you still have one that you got to deal with all that stuff with. Yeah, it's a debate that'll go for a long, long time between different people and how their philosophy on what kind of propulsion makes sense and can work. Mm-hmm. We think the electric can work perfectly fine, especially if you got two, you got redundant systems. And if you're sailors first, which we are, I think that's kind of the philosophy that has to go with the electric motors. If you're going to be passage makers with a sailboat with electric motors, they're your auxiliary propulsion, and sailing is first. And they can be extremely helpful much more frequently than a diesel can in that way. So anyway, I don't want to get too crazy on that, but.
Okay. We're going hybrid to begin with just because we do have a working motor, but the intention is as long as it works as well as we expect it to, that it'll probably be.
And our situation just kind of demands that we'll start that way because we're not like hauling the boat out and then like chop, doing everything. We're going to replace the port side one first with starboard diesel still functioning. We're going to be at anchor doing it all, So we're going to get one side working electric while we've still got the diesel working. And so we'll definitely be falling back on that hybrid thing while we're making sure that we get the electric side working properly and the prop pitch set exactly right and all that kind of stuff. And then once we got that side all shored up, then ideally, yeah, I'd like to go ahead and do the starboard side as well. But if the time comes that, you know, our money runs out, or we're just ready, it's time to go across the Atlantic and we've still got one and one, that's fine. Yeah, we can do it over there too. Hello from Kentucky.
Lane.
We got to pick up some bourbon here. That reminds me.
Oh yeah. Do people put kids with kids and such go on shore during a hurricane? Yeah, a lot of people do.
Depends.
I mean, I think
Hold on.
we're I think most people do. I mean, we definitely have a hurricane plan that if something were to hit directly, Rivers and I would get off the boat and Eric would stay and try and put out any fires that happen to.
Right. I'd be.
But there's no reason to put all of us
fending off, basically. And yeah, I would probably do that. I'd probably, and it's case by case. You know, I'm not going to go sit on the boat if we're expecting 150 knot winds either. You know, it's a boat. Mm-hmm. You know, obviously it's our home and we'll do everything we can to protect it, but you know, none of us wants to die either. So there's a point at which you've got to get it hunkered down as tightly and as securely as possible, and then we would all leave.
Yeah.
And there's been instances where we're like, this isn't going to be that bad. It's something that's passing close by, but our surety that it's not going to be bad is high enough that we're all on the boat. And that was the case when we were in Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm. And we were on the west end of Puerto Rico, and a system was going by, but it was not a tropical storm force yet, was it? Or it just had become?
It was a tropical storm, but it didn't hit directly at all.
Yeah.
So there was no.
And we were prepared. We were prepared for Lauren and Rivers to go get like a hotel room, and I would probably stay on the boat. But as things developed, we're like, this is going to be okay, we think, and we can all hang out on the boat.
Yeah.
So it's everybody's own decision, and people look at it different ways.
Yeah, I can see benefits to anything.
Yeah. Did you plan the shirt match with the curtain on the left?
Oh, you're so pretty.
Look at me. Yeah. Damn right I did. I wake up in the morning and I ask which curtain we're going to be flying.
Yeah. Are we going to do more live streams now that we have a new camera? Only if we can figure out technology.
Yeah, well, so I can't show it to you because we're on it, but this is one of the new Osmo pockets. And we've been using this for an awful lot of our stuff. It's just fantastic, and it does so many things. Part of the reason we bought it, though, was we want to do more boat concerts where, you know, I've done that a few times where I just sit back here and play some songs, and this is going to make that a whole lot simpler. So, yeah, you'll probably see some more of that and some more updates now that we've, we think, figured it out.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it happens again, we're really sorry. We'll get it under our belt eventually. So will we be adding crew for the Atlantic crossing, and when are we planning on crossing for the Atlantic? We're not sure about crew.
I think ideally we'll have at least one other person just to make the shifts a little easier.
It's just really hard. We obviously have our whole lives on the boat, and adding another person who has a life outside of the boat means that they have different timelines.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a possibility, and I'm sure it will happen. We're planning on doing it next year. About March is when
May.
The other M.
Yeah, the other M.
is when that opens up.
Yeah, May is kind of late May. As far as early June is kind of the ideal window for crossing the Atlantic, typically. So, yeah, we're shooting for May. We'll shoot for late May, and that'll be the time we'll be looking for weather windows. And I would say most likely we'll go Bermuda. A lot of boats nowadays are just taking a straight route from the Caribbean straight over to the Azores. But that'll be assuming we've got some new propulsion going on, that'll be a perfect, breakup of the whole thing. Because it's about, what did I say? It's about 6-7 days, ideally, from here to Bermuda. And so you've got a good week-long passage to kind of be a test run, and then it's another 2.5 weeks or so from there to the Azores. 2.5, kind of depends.
Yeah.
So we think we'll probably take the Bermuda route, which is more traditional. You get a little bit better wind that way, and you get to go to Bermuda. So,
yeah, not bad.
Struggling with the quality versus price versus age for a boat. Yeah, that is
that is our problem.
That is a thing. The newer boats, and in my mind, newer means anything less than, I don't know, 10 to 15 years old, I think of as newer. And if you get up into catamarans that are in that range, and especially this size, they're freaking expensive, as we discovered. So there definitely is something to be said for looking in that older range. We dipped back pretty far in the age range. But that said, I mean, there's some good things about boats of this age, including shaft drive instead of sail drives, which is a big deal.
Yeah, they weren't being built for charter use, so there was still a focus on sailing and, sailing well and building it.
On the whole, the older cats sail a little better than the newer cruising cats.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about Tremaires and, the Nautitechs that are more geared toward performance sailing. I'm talking about the fat cruisers, and so you do, give up a little bit with headroom and stuff like that. But all in all, I think there's some boats that are 25 years old that are a really good choice, and it just kind of depends on who's owned them, and what your time and effort level is. So I wouldn't discourage anybody from looking into old boats, because you'll find everything. You'll find everything from complete wrecks that look really great in the photos to gems that have a couple that's owned it for 15 years and have just kept it in perfect condition. We've got friends that are buying a Dean in Brunswick, and it looks like they scored, because it's not that old, but it's almost 20 years old now, or it is 20 years old. So, but it looks like they've had the right kind of owners. And a boat's only as good as its systems and how somebody's kept care of them, and if it's bad, it can be really, really tough to catch up with it all. If you can't afford to sit the boat in a boatyard for 6 months and just go nuts, then it can be very, very hard to catch up with all the stuff that can be wrong. So,
yeah.
But yeah, look at them all. I think if price is being a problem, I think there's some really good old boats to check out. And what do you say?
Steak, to eat.
Rivers is doing his own thing.
I know, he was on the chat for a little bit, but now he's playing. Let me help him.
Yeah, Chauncey Williams, you've got it 100% right. It's all about how a boat's maintained. Some of those older boats were put together really well and really solid. And here's the other thing, and this is a little bit kind of like the world of cars in a way. There is something to be said for simplicity, and older boats, things were just done a little simpler with how some of the systems were set up. And when I'm putting stuff on the boat that's even brand new, I tend to try to keep it as simple as an older boat would have been, because it's a lot of the crazy, like a water maker, for instance, that has a panel that's computerized and you just push a button and that does everything. Well, those are the things that go bad the fastest. And newer boats have tons and tons of fancy, complicated systems and electronics that I don't think are really necessary. They're fun and they're nice if they're working right, but that can be a benefit to go into an older boat. You pay a lot less, and it's stuff that you can fix. So, What else we got here?
Lori wants to know how we stay fit on the boat. That's subjective. No, that's probably not a good move.
6. Lauren is we do actually exercise a decent amount. Lauren exercises a ton on the boat. You're kind of a beast. Yes, you can. She looks awesome. She does yoga and she does these intense workouts that I look at them and I think if I joined her, it would probably be the end. And I do weights and yoga as nearly as much frequency as you do. The other is, if you're like us and you're on the boat and you do everything yourself and you're on it constantly, it's kind of a lot of work. You walk a lot. You're constantly lifting things, crawling around in places. I just think it's less of a sedentary lifestyle, which is funny because most people take on the sailing lifestyle so they can kick back and like be sedentary, and that's not. Yeah. It's not really what it is. Stephen Helen.
Hey,
what's up, guys? Oh yeah.
There you go. Just for you. Yeah, I do a lot of like online ones, which has really helped with the Starlink, and having the Catamaran with the space has really helped with the fitness side of things.
Starlink is a life changer for us. It sounds expensive for the initial. I managed to get our Starlink on eBay for $450, including shipping. But then we registered it in Haiti, and we pay $65 a month for.
Yeah, you can register the Starlink in the spots that are not as expensive as the U.S. We do get some weird ads and things, and whenever you're shopping online, it's like, we don't ship to Haiti. And it's like, oh yeah, we got to change that. But that's how a VPN works really well.
Right. Yeah.
That's not an ad, but
no, it's not. Yeah, it's been fantastic, and it's more reliable than the internet on the island.
Right.
Frankly.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, somebody's late to the party. We are all. I mean, we're not all clear of Beryl. We're going to get the wind tonight, but the path of it is way south of us. We're happy to say, but I'm just very, very worried about everybody that's down in Grenada. Like so many people we know, so many friends, and the people on island too. Those on the coast are really going to get hit pretty hard. So keeping our fingers crossed.
Yeah.
An onboard massage therapist. I mean, that's not a bad idea.
Can they also be our crew for the crossing?
And cook?
Yeah. Nanny? Send your resumes to us. We'll totally take them.
Tai Chi on a boat. Yeah, boat chi. That'd be good.
We did talk about that recently.
That'd be good for me. I need the flexibility and the stretching and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wesley Clark said that they bought their boat out of charter. Vessel was in fairly good condition, minimum of overly complex systems. And that's kind of the tricky thing about charter boats. You hear an awful lot of, never buy a boat out of charter. It's been beat up. And that can definitely be true, especially from an aesthetic point of view. But if you replace the systems that are not working, you've got new systems. You can get a good price, and a lot of those boats are maintained pretty well. So it's really not something you should completely overlook. Mm-hmm. There's just so much stuff. We know people that have bought brand new boats, really good name boats, and have had nothing but problems for 2 years straight. And so would you rather spend $1 million and then have a ton of problems over and over and over and over, or spend a fourth of that and have a million problems over and over and over? But there may be problems that you can fix yourself. It's one way to look at it.
Yeah. We did not have to be in Haiti to put our Starlink in Haiti. We just had to find an address. That was kind of complicated. I think I just looked up an apartment building in Haiti and said that's where we lived.
I can put my mother on your crossing. Somebody's trying to give us their mother. The subscription we have in Haiti is just a basic subscription. There was nothing special about it.
No, it was just where we were registering it.
You found an address to use.
Yeah, that took a while.
And since we already had the Starlink, there was nothing physical to be shipped to us. You can only do that if you already have the hardware. You got to buy the hardware like used or whatever,
and unlock
then unlock
something?
it.
Okay.
Yeah, make sure it's unlocked from the previous owner, and then register it in wherever you want.
Yeah.
And they don't
And watch
seem to have a problem
this
with that.
video get taken down because Elon Musk was like, no, nobody should know these things.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Next big project on the boat is the solar panels. I've got that pretty much figured out. Just got to go buy a few parts, buy the panels themselves. We've got cables coming and connectors, and I've got both of the controllers. Basically, what we're doing is 4 310 watt panels back here. Those are going to be sourced right here in St. Martin. They're really tough to get shipped here for obvious reasons. And so luckily, they have a ridiculous deal on those panels. And from what I've had reported from friends, they are putting out easily 310, more like 320. So we'll have 4 back here on 2 separate controllers. And then we're going to have 6 on the canopy up here, flexible ones. I won't talk about what kind yet until we've figured out if our deal works out or not.
Yeah.
Also with 2 separate controllers. So 4 separate controllers for about 2,400 watts of solar. And those controllers will be able to do our house bank, which is 12 volts right now. And then when we go ahead and put in our 48 volt bank that will power the motor or motors, then that will feed the 12 volt bank with a DC to DC converter, and we'll have to send all the charge to the 48 volt bank. So we had to make sure that our MPPTs could charge 48 volts. And then of course we got to run our panels in series enough to get voltage high enough to do that. So it's kind of tricky to make sure that we got all the right pieces, parts to do both things, you know, be able to use all this solar before we're using the motors and before I have the battery pack built, and then switch it all over. So that's kind of what's happening next. Plus a lot of interior stuff too. I mean, it's not really just all about the motors. We got cloth coming to do a bunch of interior stuff. I'm pretty excited about that because a lot of our vinyl has been falling down lately.
Yeah, that's what you guys would have watched today.
Yeah.
It's a great video.
Lauren's like,
vinyl.
I think maybe talking about what's going on here is maybe more interesting than our vinyl falling off our walls.
That's all we've been talking about.
Yeah.
We're constantly looking up what's going on with Beryl. Where is everybody?
Karen's gonna rat us out to Elon.
I know. Give him my number.
Steve, we're in St. Martin. We're sitting on the Dutch side with our anchor about 6 feet below dirt. So we're in good shape. Yeah, actually, if we're using Victron controllers, eventually we'll probably use all 4 Victron controllers, and those
read the whole thing.
Sorry, that's from Captain Rehab. He's talking about having the controllers talk to each other, and that is what the Victron does best, and that's why I like them. They're a little more expensive as some other controllers, but not a ton. And the monitoring through Bluetooth or through their screen and the way those talk together and work together to get the exact right charge sent to your batteries is kind of hard to beat. So yeah, so that's why we're doing all Victron controllers for that stuff, just so we get the best possible charging at all times. I'm excited. I can't wait. So
yeah, we just got to get out of hurricane season so we can start getting packages again. Is mostly what's
server rack batteries. Okay, we'll check that out. Oh yeah, you can see our doors in the background. So my compliment. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a lot nicer to walk out those in the morning than it was when they were looking like they were.
I just started painting the Hobbit hole, so we're starting to paint things too.
Yeah, there's painting going on. Somebody asked about audiobook business. It's going well. When we settled down here in St. Martin, one of my prime directives was to try to get my schedule filled out as much as possible. You know, I'm an independent contractor, so a lot of my business is getting business. So I kind of worked that pretty hard and got my schedule filled out pretty well while we've been here.
I'm going to turn on the...
You want to see how fast it went? Yeah.
Continue talking.
And so, yeah, I've been working projects just about every single week since we've been here. And I just finished one today right before we came out here, which is good because these gusts have gotten a little too much for my system to squish out. That's going to be good. I got a Western that I did today that's finished today that's coming out pretty soon. It's not going to be very good right now.
Well, I mean, it's still going up to like 19.4.
Okay. I bet that one was up in the high 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry. I'm sorry.
Yep, somebody just installed Victron and 2,500 amp hours. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, we'll be somewhere in that neighborhood. We got to start thinking in watt hours, because if you're not talking 12 volts, you can't just say amp hours anymore, because it doesn't mean the same thing. You got to multiply that by your volts to get watt hours. But it's going to be the equivalent of about, we got 900 in here, and it'll be something like 1,500 12 volt amp hours roughly. Put it all together.
Someone asked where they can find your book. They're all on Audible.
Yeah.
And
go to audible.com and just put in Eric Dove.
Eric G. Dove.
Yeah, it works either way. Yeah. But yeah, if you can put Eric G. Dove, and I've got almost 500 of them on there.
You can also find his music now on Spotify. 90s band.
Well, my music's been on Spotify for a long time.
Yeah.
But
except for
if you search Eric Dove, you're not going to get that.
That's true.
No, we got a band reunion of my rock band, Gingly Joe, coming up here when we come back to the States in October. So if you're going to be around Fremont, Ohio, come check it out. We're playing a pretty cool place. I'm going to be playing
around Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, I'm going to be playing gigs with Chico, Tom Lee's my good friend who's been playing guitar with me forever. So we're doing that. But yeah, there's music coming out on Spotify under Gingly Joe. If you want to hear some,
you got to figure out how to spell it.
Some righteous alt rock from the 90s.
Yeah.
I have done some war histories. Yeah, I've done some military fiction and nonfiction. A couple things for National Geographic that were pretty well reviewed. Yeah, I've done all kinds of stuff. So somebody's bringing. Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, I don't know how to say your name. You've been commenting with us for so long. We appreciate it. YSESQ. Yes, Q. We look forward to seeing you if we're still around. What else? I don't know if there's any other things we can let people know about what's
going on. Are we going to
the
boat show? Yes, we are. The plan is going to the boat show. We haven't actually confirmed that they're having like a YouTube booth, but we would assume they are.
Yeah.
They usually send out that information kind of about now. But even if they are having a YouTube booth, we are planning to be back in the States, and we will go to Annapolis, and we'll figure out a way to
we're going to have a lot of stuff going on by that time. So that'll be a good place to talk about it all.
Yeah.
Going to have some good sponsors that are going to be part of all this electric motor business and everything. So, yeah. Thanks, SV EDOS. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
We don't have plans for wind turbines right now. I think we'll probably roll with a crap load of solar first and just see what our power needs are. We're going to have so much solar that I think at anchor, we're definitely going to be fine for power. It'll be long passages that we find out whether we need anything else. I don't think we will, but you never know. And that's one thing about a cat. There's just a lot of room to put turbines and solar and everything else.
We had a turbine that we bought that we were going to put on Cecilia, and then we ended up leaving it at a shop in Grenada, but maybe
still
if they
hasn't
still
sold.
have it, we'll just grab it back and put it on.
Yeah. Somebody asked when we're going to be in the States, and that'll be October. The boat show is like the first or second week of October. So we'll be at the Annapolis Sailboat portion of the boat show. And then we're going back to Ohio for a couple weeks after that to see friends and family and do a bunch of other stuff. And then we'll come back to St. Martin. So we're going to basically, our plan now is to let all of this weather play out. And then we'll be heading down to Grenada, probably via Martinique, stop at a few places on the way down. Be in Grenada for roughly 2 months. We're going to take time out in the middle there to come back up to Tyrrell Bay, hopefully, to do our haul out and do our bottom.
Everything's still there.
Yeah, I'm sure the boatyard will be fine. But yeah, we got to haul out. We need a bottom job real bad. We're going to do that ourselves. I want to service the props and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then getting toward October, assuming we don't have any other weather that we're watching at that time, things start to settle down a good bit at that time of year, hopefully. We'll be coming back up here and putting Ophelia on a mooring ball while we travel. And Zeke will probably go, we don't know, we'll have him stay with friends, or we'll board him while we do our trip to the States.
Right.
We also got to do some visa stuff because we're trying to think ahead before our trip to Europe and trying to get a more of a long-term visa,
right,
so that it makes it easier for us to travel from country to country once we get over there.
Yeah.
And that's probably going to be in France. That's the plan.
Right. The visa will be from France.
Yeah.
Which will kind of be the home base for
Yeah.
a bit, but that allows you to travel through. Sorry, the boat is doing. There's a big gust. Let me go see. I want to see what it is. You keep talking about me.
Hurry.
25.
Oh, Precision 435. Cool.
25 is what I saw.
Oh, Lane, I feel your pain.
Rivers Brennan's back on, and he wanted to ask you a question.
Yeah, we do want to see snow, actually. I miss snowboarding, so I'm looking forward to finding some snowboarding in the Alps or the Pyrenees, either one, which is kind of a cool thing about Europe is there's a lot of places you can reach from the coasts that aren't too far away and do some pretty cool stuff. So
yes, Brennan, you can ask me something.
Thomas Sailing. I'll check them out. Yeah. What'd you see? I didn't hear you.
25.
25. Okay. That sounds
25.
about right. Yeah. We're going to see some good ones, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, he's on an older cat, and he's been anchored at 100 knots.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Very good.
He can do it. I mean, we're keeping our fingers crossed for everybody down there. It's going to see those kind of winds, and hopefully everybody makes it out unscathed. I'm sure there'll be some drama, but we'll find out.
Luckily, we are.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, we've done a lot of sewing. Somebody complimented our chairs.
The chairs. This one needs a little bit of
Hello,
work
Brennan.
again.
Yeah,
Like,
I think one of my
what was
stitches
it
got
you
away from
wanted
me.
Okay, hello, Brennan, but what was it that you wanted to ask me?
They said, hi, Rivers.
Because you guys never talk.
Yeah.
Hey, cheers in England.
Nice.
Passage drink.
Yeah, we'll be over there.
It's a passage of internet ways from here to England.
Yeah. Any advice on planning a trip to the boat show? No, I don't feel like we do it well ever.
Yeah, we haven't figured out the best way to do that. We've only done it the one time.
Brennan, I'm going to call you.
Okay,
Yeah, you just got to
call,
go call
go
him.
call Brennan.
Yeah, when we were there, we stayed at a hotel that was a little far away, and it was fine. There's lots of accommodations that are close by, but you got to get on it kind of soon to get it reserved. Other than that, yeah, anything close to downtown is good because there's so much going on. All right. Another hi from Kentucky.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are approaching the 53-minute mark,
Yeah.
54-minute mark. I think we've done what we came here to do.
Yeah. Mostly we're in St. Martin. We're
Yeah.
out of the storm. We're watching all the weather closely.
Everybody keep your fingers crossed for the people
Yeah.
that are either hunkered down in St. Vincent, Grenada, the Grenadines, all those places, and even more so the ones that are taking off for Trinidad. I'm kind of worried about those folks. I don't know what's going to happen with all of them when they get down there. But
Yeah. This is the video for this week.
Mhm.
We'll get out another one next Sunday,
Yep.
a fully edited. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be. We're kind of talking about maybe, depending on what we see, it might be what's going on here.
right. Yeah, we'll see. We're pretty caught up with a lot of our stuff.
Yeah.
So you're seeing a lot of what's happening almost in real time in our videos anyway.
Yeah.
And yeah, thanks for those that have tuned into some of the review stuff too. We're trying to keep that very separate.
Yeah.
That's definitely been a huge help in funding some of our projects on the boat. Being able to do those reviews is a separate stream of income. and we get to play with some fun toys while we're at it. So, keep that in mind, and we'll keep putting the regular videos out on Sunday, and you'll see a review pop up during the week now and then.
Yeah, and this was mostly easy after we got. So we'll try and start planning a little bit more live streams.
Thanks for everybody that found us after all the technical difficulties at the beginning, and for those of you that hopefully find this video after the fact, sorry if you tried to find it on the previous link and it didn't work out. We don't know what happened, and we'll try to do better next time.
Annapolis Boat Show. Yeah. Hey, can you say your catchphrase? Can you say like and subscribe?
Like and subscribe, please.
Yeah.
All right.
That was just for you, Chauncey.
Cool. We'll see you in Annapolis too. Yeah. I mean, if anybody that hasn't been to the Annapolis Boat Show, I mean, it's pretty wild. It's an awesome scene. There's a lot. So many. It's not just all the boats, but all the vendors and the restaurants in downtown Annapolis is so cool.
Yeah.
You don't have to be shopping for a boat to enjoy it. It's really cool.
It's an experience.
Yeah. So if anybody's able, come see us. Come see us in the YouTube booth and say hi, or wherever we are.
We'll hopefully set up like a get together too.
Yeah. So. Yeah. This time for sure.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we will try to keep y'all posted as what's going on here. We should see the most of our wind
tonight
and going into tomorrow. Tomorrow should be a pretty windy day, so hopefully we are as stuck as we think we are.
We'll find out.
Yeah. All right. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Have a sundowner for us.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time. All right. Ending stream, I think.
Well, there are questions about sailing with the dog, but we'll get that one next time.
Yeah, we'll try to get on there.